The orbital defense platform Artemis 7 registered the anomaly exactly 3 minutes before New Eden Colony disappeared. Lieutenant Marcus Joe watched in horror as the settlement of 2 million people vanished in a flash of purple light. His hands trembled over the controls as he transmitted the emergency signal to Earth Command, knowing he had just witnessed humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, and it wasn't peaceful. Within hours, 3 more colonies fell. Proxima Beta, Haven's Gate, and New Armstrong gone without a trace or warning. 8 million more lives erased from existence. The mysterious vessels responsible for the attacks moved with impossible grace, their hulls seeming to absorb both light and sensor readings. Deep beneath the Martian surface, in a facility known only to a handful of people, Director Olivia Patel stood before the Council of Earth Defense. Her dark skin was illuminated by the harsh lighting of the emergency chamber, her expression grim but determined. Project Phoenix was created for exactly this scenario, she stated, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Our enhanced operatives are ready. They've been waiting in suspended animation for 15 years, preparing for a threat we hoped would never come. General Jackson Wei, the highest-ranking military officer present, leaned forward, his cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on the holographic display showing the destruction of the colonies. You're telling me these subjects of yours can stand against an enemy that wiped out millions in minutes? Olivia's response was interrupted by a soft chime from her neural implant. They're more than just subjects, General. They're humanity's next evolutionary step, and they're waking up. In Chamber 0 of the Phoenix facility, 40 stasis pods hummed to life. From the central pod emerged a man with obsidian skin and eyes that seemed to reflect starlight. His name was Dante Washington, and he had been the first volunteer for the Phoenix program. As he stepped from the pod, his enhanced muscles showed no sign of atrophy despite 15 years of inactivity. "Status report," he commanded, his voice carrying an authority that came from more than just military rank. Around him, other enhanced humans were emerging from their pods, scientists, soldiers, and specialists who had sacrificed their present for humanity's future. Dr. Kai Nakamura, the lead scientist of Project Phoenix, approached with a tablet displaying the attack footage. "4 colonies gone, Dante. The enemy uses technology we can't even detect properly. But that's why we created you and the others." Dante studied the footage, his enhanced mind processing details at speeds impossible for a normal human. He noticed patterns in the void where the alien ships moved, distortions in spacetime that would be invisible to standard sensors. "They're not just advanced," he said slowly. "They're operating on principles we weren't meant to understand. Yet." The other Phoenix operatives gathered around, each one a masterpiece of human enhancement. There was Zara Nazari, the quantum physicist whose mind could process 11-dimensional mathematics. Marcus Kincaid, the tactical expert whose enhanced reflexes operated faster than human thought. And Yuki Tanaka, the xenobiologist whose altered brain could analyze and adapt to any biological or technological system. "Show me the neural interface data from the colony's final moments," Dante requested. Dr. Nakamura complied, and the enhanced humans linked their minds through their neural implants, sharing and analyzing the information as a collective consciousness. "There," Zara said suddenly, her eyes glowing with an inner light as she processed the data. "The energy signature isn't just technological. It's conscious. These aren't just ships we're dealing with. They're living entities existing partially in our dimension and partially in others." Dante nodded, pieces falling into place. "That's why conventional defenses failed. We've been fighting them as if they were ships when they're actually beings that have evolved beyond physical form. But they made one crucial mistake." He turned to address the gathered Phoenix operatives, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. "They assumed we couldn't evolve to match them. They didn't know about Project Phoenix. They didn't know that humanity had already taken its first steps toward transcendence." In orbit above Mars, new contacts appeared on the Artemis 7 sensors. The alien fleet was returning, larger this time. Their target was obvious: Earth itself. But as Lieutenant Joe prepared to send another warning, he noticed something else. A small group of signals moving from the Martian surface, ships unlike anything he'd ever seen before. Project Phoenix was about to show the aliens exactly why they should have feared humanity's potential. The war for human survival was about to begin, and evolution itself would be the battlefield. Earth's conventional defense fleet engaged the alien armada in high orbit, their weapons passing harmlessly through the ethereal vessels. Admiral Reyna Torres watched from the bridge of the UES Hyperion as her ship's most advanced weapons proved useless against an enemy that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. All ships maintain defensive pattern delta, she ordered, knowing she was sending good people to their deaths. We just need to buy time. The alien vessels, now identified as the Transcended, moved through space like liquid shadow, their purple energy beams erasing matter from existence itself. But the real battle was about to begin elsewhere. Rising from the Martian surface, 5 ships of impossible design accelerated toward Earth. These vessels, designated as Quantum Response Units (QRUs), had been built specifically for Project Phoenix. Their hulls were composed of metamaterials that could partially phase between dimensions, and their crews were the enhanced humans who had waited 15 years for this moment. On the bridge of the lead vessel, the QRU ascendant, Dante Washington, interfaced directly with the ship's quantum systems through his neural implants. Beside him, Zara Nazari monitored the dimensional frequencies of space itself, her enhanced mind perceiving reality in ways no normal human could comprehend. Multiple dimensional signatures detected, she reported, her eyes glowing with quantum calculations. The Transcended are operating primarily in dimensions 4 through 7, with minimal presence in our standard three-dimensional space. Marcus Kincaid, manning the tactical systems, smiled grimly. That's why conventional weapons can't touch them, but we're not conventional, are we? The QRUs accelerated to speeds that should have been impossible, their quantum drives allowing them to partially exist in the same dimensional spaces as their targets. As they approached the battle, Dante opened a neural link with all Phoenix operatives across the 5 ships. Remember your training, his thoughts echoed in their enhanced minds. We're not just fighting for humanity's survival, we're fighting for our right to evolve. The first engagement was unlike anything in human military history. The QRUs didn't just fire weapons, they manipulated the fabric of spacetime itself. Yuki Tanaka, interfacing with the ship's biological systems, began analyzing the Transcended's energy patterns in real time. They're not just beings of energy, she announced, her enhanced mind making connections at incredible speed. They're conscious wavelengths of quantum probability. Each ship is a thought-given form across multiple dimensions. The Transcended noticed the QRUs too late. The enhanced humans had already begun their attack, using weapons that operated on principles the aliens thought impossible for primitive beings to grasp. Quantum torpedoes phased through the same dimensional spaces the Transcended inhabited, while probability disruptors forced them to fully materialize in normal space. An alien vessel, caught by surprise, found itself suddenly solid and vulnerable. The QRU Ascendant's main weapon, a consciousness disruption beam designed by Zara herself, struck true. The alien ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist across all dimensions simultaneously. The Transcended reacted with something approaching panic. Their perfect formation broke as they registered an impossible fact. The primitives had evolved far beyond their predictions. Through the neural link, Dante felt a sudden pressure the aliens were trying to communicate. Images and concepts flooded the enhanced humans' minds. Ancient civilizations, evolutionary paths, and a deep primordial fear. The Transcended weren't just attacking out of aggression, they were acting out of terror at what humanity might become. They're showing us their history, Zara whispered, her mind processing the flood of information. Every species they've encountered either stayed primitive or evolved to join them, but we're taking a different path. Admiral Torres watched in amazement as the mysterious QRUs engaged the alien fleet. Where conventional weapons had failed, these new ships were actually hurting the enemy. But more importantly, they were forcing the Transcended to acknowledge humanity as equals. Through the neural link, Dante broadcast a response to the aliens' message. Not in words, but in pure concept, humanity would not be contained, we would not be limited. Our evolution would follow its own path, not one predetermined by ancient beings of light and thought. The battle paused as the Transcended processed this defiance. In that moment of hesitation, Yuki made a breakthrough. Their dimensional shifting, it's not just technology, it's biological. They evolved natural abilities to exist across dimensions, and our enhancements were developing the same capability but differently. The revelation spread through the neural link, changing the entire context of the battle. Project Phoenix hadn't just created super soldiers, it had jump-started humanity's next evolutionary leap. The Transcended's worst fears were being realized. Humanity was evolving into something entirely new, neither bound to physical form like primitive species nor transcendent like them. As the enhanced humans pressed their advantage, pushing the alien fleet back from Earth, a new understanding emerged. This wasn't just a battle for survival, it was humanity's first step onto a cosmic stage we had never known existed. And the Transcended Sphere proved one vital truth: we were ready for it. In the aftermath of humanity's first successful engagement with the Transcended, the QRU Ascendance crew made a discovery that would change the course of the war. Yuki Tanaka, studying the dimensional residue left by the destroyed alien vessel, detected patterns that defied conventional physics. "They're not just evolving," she announced to the assembled Phoenix operatives in the ship's quantum lab. "They're devolving at the same time. Each shift between dimensions cost them something fundamental." Her enhanced mind projected the analysis through their shared neural network, showing how the Transcended's consciousness patterns were slowly deteriorating. Dante Washington absorbed this information, his modified brain processing implications at quantum speeds. "They're afraid of us because we represent a solution they never found," he realized. "A way to evolve without losing physical form." The Transcended fleet had withdrawn to the outer solar system, but their presence loomed like a storm cloud over Earth. In the brief respite, Project Phoenix's leadership gathered in their Martian facility to plan humanity's next move. Director Olivia Patel stood before a holographic display of the solar system, watching the ethereal movements of their dimensional adversaries. "We've proven we can fight them," she addressed the assembled enhanced humans. "Now we need to understand them. Dr. Nakamura, what have you learned from the battle data?" The scientist's augmented eyes flickered with calculations as he projected his findings. The Transcended achieved dimensional transcendence over 1 million years ago, but their evolution came at a cost. They're losing their ability to affect physical reality. Each generation becomes more ethereal, more disconnected from the universe they once inhabited. Marcus Kincaid, fresh from analyzing tactical data, stepped forward. "That's why they're so afraid of us. Project Phoenix achieved in 15 years what took them 1 million, and we did it without sacrificing our physical form." In orbit above Mars, Zara Nazari had made her own breakthrough. The quantum physicist's enhanced consciousness reached across dimensional boundaries, sensing patterns that normal humans couldn't perceive. Through the neural link, she shared her discovery with the others. "They're not just a different species," she explained, her mind projecting complex quantum mathematics that only their enhanced brains could comprehend. "They're a different solution to the same problem. Evolution demands consciousness expand beyond physical limitations. They chose to abandon physical form entirely. We're finding a way to exist in both states simultaneously." The implications stunned even their enhanced minds. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. We were proving that the Transcended's path wasn't the only way forward. Our hybrid approach, maintaining physical form while expanding consciousness across dimensions, represented a threat to their entire understanding of evolution. Deep in the quantum lab, Yuki made another crucial discovery. The biological samples taken from the dimensional residue showed signs of attempted adaptation. "They're trying to copy us," she revealed. "The Transcended are attempting to reverse engineer our enhancement process, but their consciousness patterns are too far removed from physical form. They can't go back." The revelation sparked an idea in Dante's mind. Through the neural link, he shared a strategy that seemed impossible yet perfectly logical to their enhanced intellects. "We don't need to destroy them," he proposed. "We need to show them another way." As if in response to his thoughts, the Transcended fleet began moving again. But this time, their approach was different. Instead of attack formations, they arranged themselves in patterns that Zara recognized from their earlier communication patterns of dialogue, not war. Admiral Torres, watching from the UES Hyperion, received an urgent message from Project Phoenix. "Hold your fire," Dante's voice came through. "They're not here to attack, they're here to learn." The Transcended had realized something their 1 million years of evolution hadn't prepared them for. Humanity's path might preserve what they had lost. Through the dimensional barriers, they projected their history again, but this time with a different purpose. They showed how their species had achieved incredible power but lost the simple joys of physical existence: the feeling of sunlight, the taste of food, the touch of another being. In the quantum lab, Yuki worked feverishly with Dr. Nakamura, their enhanced minds processing possibilities at incredible speeds. The Physical Enhancement Quantum Integration Network, PEQIN, they had used to create the Phoenix operatives might offer the Transcended a way back. Not to fully physical form, but to a hybrid state like humanity was achieving. "It's not just about winning the war anymore," Dante broadcast to all Phoenix operatives. We're about to reshape the very concept of evolution itself. As the enhanced humans prepared to attempt something never before conceived, helping an ancient, dimensionally transcendent species reclaim aspects of physical existence, they realized humanity had achieved something greater than military victory. We had proven that evolution didn't have to be a linear path to transcendence. It could be a bridge between states of being, a way to expand consciousness while preserving what makes us human. The war that had begun with the destruction of colonies was transforming into something else entirely. The first steps toward a new understanding of life itself, where physical and transcendent existence weren't mutually exclusive but complementary states of an ever-expanding consciousness. Not everyone welcomed the sudden shift from war to collaboration. General Wei stormed into the Mars Facilities Command Center, his cybernetic eye pulsing red with anger. They destroyed 4 colonies, millions dead, and now we're supposed to help them. Director Olivia Patel stood her ground, facing the general's rage with calm determination. The Transcended acted out of fear, not malice. They saw a future where humanity surpassed them and they struck first. Now they see a future where we can help them recover what they've lost. But even as the political storm raged, Project Phoenix was facing a more immediate crisis. In the quantum lab, Yuki Tanaka's enhanced senses detected a dangerous instability in the dimensional barriers. The Transcended's attempt to adapt the PEQIN process was having unexpected consequences. The dimensional membrane is breaking down, she announced through the neural network. Their experiments are weakening the barriers between realities. If we don't stabilize it soon, both our species could be torn apart across multiple dimensions. Dante Washington and Zara Nazari led a team of Phoenix operatives aboard the QRU Ascendant, their ship moving through increasingly unstable space toward the main Transcended vessel. Through their enhanced perception, they could see reality itself beginning to fray around them. Their consciousness patterns are destabilizing, Zara reported, her quantum-enhanced mind processing the chaos around them. They're trying to force evolution backwards, but it's creating paradoxes in space-time. Marcus Kincaid, monitoring the tactical systems, detected new energy signatures. We've got dimensional rifts forming. If they collapse, they'll take half the solar system with them. Through their neural link, the Phoenix operatives could feel the Transcended's growing panic. The ancient beings had maintained perfect control over dimensional boundaries for millions of years. Now, their desperate attempt to reclaim physical form was unraveling the very fabric of spacetime. Dr. Nakamura's voice cut through their linked consciousness. The PEQIN process wasn't designed for reverse evolution. It's like trying to turn a butterfly back into a caterpillar. The process only works in one direction. Not everyone welcomed the sudden shift from war to collaboration. General Wei stormed into the Mars Facilities Command Center, his cybernetic eye pulsing red with anger. They destroyed 4 colonies, millions dead, and now we're supposed to help them. Director Olivia Patel stood her ground, facing the general's rage with calm determination. The Transcended acted out of fear, not malice. They saw a future where humanity surpassed them and they struck first. Now they see a future where we can help them recover what they've lost. But even as the political storm raged, Project Phoenix was facing a more immediate crisis. In the quantum lab, Yuki Tanaka's enhanced senses detected a dangerous instability in the dimensional barriers. The Transcended's attempt to adapt the PEQIN process was having unexpected consequences. The dimensional membrane is breaking down, she announced through the neural network. Their experiments are weakening the barriers between realities. If we don't stabilize it soon, both our species could be torn apart across multiple dimensions. Dante Washington and Zara Nazari led a team of Phoenix operatives aboard the QRU Ascendant, their ship moving through increasingly unstable space toward the main Transcended vessel. Through their enhanced perception, they could see reality itself beginning to fray around them. Their consciousness patterns are destabilizing, Zara reported, her quantum-enhanced mind processing the chaos around them. They're trying to force evolution backwards, but it's creating paradoxes in spacetime. Marcus Kincaid, monitoring the tactical systems, detected new energy signatures. We've got dimensional rifts forming. If they collapse, they'll take half the solar system with them. Through their neural link, the Phoenix operatives could feel the Transcended's growing panic. The ancient beings had maintained perfect control over dimensional boundaries for millions of years. Now, their desperate attempt to reclaim physical form was unraveling the very fabric of spacetime. Dr. Nakamura's voice cut through their linked consciousness. The PEQIN process wasn't designed for reverse evolution. It's like trying to turn a butterfly back into a caterpillar. The process only works in one direction. But Dante saw something in the chaos that others missed. The dimensional distortions weren't just breaking down barriers, they were creating new ones. Through the quantum communications array, he shared his revelation with both humans and transcended. "We've been thinking about this wrong," his thoughts echoed across species. "We shouldn't try to reverse their evolution or accelerate ours. We need to create something entirely new." Yuki, analyzing the dimensional flux patterns, understood immediately. The instabilities, they're not just dangerous, they're creative. The breakdown of traditional dimensional barriers is forcing both our species to adapt in ways we never imagined. The transcended, their consciousness patterns fluctuating wildly, grasped the concept. Through the quantum link, they shared ancient knowledge, tales of other species who had tried to breach dimensional barriers, of civilizations lost to the void between states of being. But never had two species attempted to bridge that gap together. Director Patel, watching the crisis unfold from Mars, received an urgent message from Earth Command. The dimensional distortions were becoming visible from Earth's surface, aurora-like patterns of quantum interference that filled the sky with impossible colors. "Whatever you're going to do," Admiral Torres transmitted from the Hyperion, "do it fast. We're detecting dimensional stress fractures throughout the system." Dante made a decision that would reshape both species' future. Through the neural link, he connected with the transcended consciousness while Zara calibrated the quantum fields. Instead of trying to reverse their evolution or accelerate humanity's, they would use the dimensional instabilities to forge a new path. "We're going to ride the wave," he announced. "The dimensional breakdown isn't just destruction, it's creation. We can use it to establish a new state of being, one that exists simultaneously across all affected dimensions." The Phoenix operatives linked their enhanced minds, creating a network of consciousness that bridged physical and transcendent existence. The transcended, understanding the plan, added their ancient power to the effort. Together, they didn't try to stop the dimensional collapse, they guided it, shaped it, turned destruction into transformation. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as physical and transcendent beings worked together to reshape the boundaries of existence. The dimensional rifts, instead of collapsing into destruction, began to stabilize into permanent bridges between states of being. Through these bridges, the transcended found they could experience echoes of physical sensation again, while humans discovered new ways to expand their consciousness without losing their physical form. It wasn't a return to what was lost or a leap into transcendence. It was something entirely new, a hybrid state that neither species had imagined possible. As the quantum storm subsided, the solar system emerged transformed. The dimensional bridges remained, visible as shimmering veils in space where different states of existence overlapped and intertwined. Project Phoenix had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations, not by winning a war or solving an evolutionary crisis, but by proving that the path forward didn't have to be a choice between physical and transcendent existence. The transcended who had come as conquerors now remained as partners in an unprecedented evolutionary journey. Together, both species had discovered that the future belonged not to those who transcended their nature, but to those who found ways to unite the best of all possible states of being. 1 year after the dimensional bridges stabilized, Earth had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The shimmering quantum veils that now stretched across the solar system weren't just scientific phenomena, they were gateways to a new chapter in human evolution. In the expanded Mars facility, now a joint research center for both species, Dante Washington stood before a group of new Project Phoenix volunteers. His enhanced form now emanated a subtle quantum signature, visible to both physical and transcendent beings. "What we achieved wasn't just survival," he addressed the candidates, his voice carrying across both physical and dimensional space. "We proved that evolution isn't a linear path. It's not about leaving our physical form behind or remaining bound by it. It's about expanding what it means to be conscious beings." The transcended, once humanity's greatest threat, now shared their ancient knowledge freely. Through the quantum bridges, their consciousness could interact with physical reality in ways they'd thought lost forever. In return, humanity's hybrid approach to evolution offered them new perspectives on existence itself. Yuki Tanaka, working in the quantum lab with a group of transcended scientists, had made breakthrough after breakthrough. The PEQIN process had evolved into something far more sophisticated, the Quantum Consciousness Integration Network, QCIN. Through it, humans could gradually expand their consciousness across dimensions while maintaining their physical form. Each species brings unique strengths to this partnership, she explained to Dr. Nakamura as they reviewed the latest data. The transcended understand the higher dimensions in ways we're just beginning to grasp, but our physical perspective helps them remember aspects of existence they'd forgotten over millions of years. In Earth orbit, Zara Nazari commanded the new quantum exploration vessel, QEV Pioneer, a ship designed to traverse both physical space and dimensional planes. Her enhanced mind could now perceive 11 dimensions simultaneously, yet she never lost touch with her human essence. "We're receiving signals from other civilizations," she reported during a joint session with Earth Command and the Transcended Council. "Species that achieved different forms of evolution, some physical, some transcendent, some in states we're still trying to understand. They've noticed our dimensional bridges." The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just found a new path for itself, it had created a model that other species could follow. The transcended, once afraid of our potential, now saw humans as pioneers of a new form of existence. Marcus Kincaid, leading the Defense Grid Adaptation Team, had transformed Earth's military doctrine. "We're not just protecting physical space anymore," he explained to Admiral Torres. "We're securing dimensional boundaries while keeping them open for peaceful exchange. It's not about weapons, it's about maintaining balance across states of being." Director Olivia Patel stood in the Mars Facility's observation dome, watching quantum ships move through the dimensional veils. Beside her, a transcended elder manifested in a form that bridged physical and higher dimensional space. "Your species surprised us," the elder communicated. "We thought evolution was a choice between transcendence and physical limitation. You showed us it was possible to be both and more." The remnants of the destroyed colonies had not been forgotten. Through the dimensional bridges, researchers had detected traces of the lost consciousness patterns. There was hope that, in time, some essence of those lost might be recovered from the quantum fabric of space itself. In the quantum lab, a new discovery sparked excitement. Yuki and her team had detected signs of spontaneous evolution in normal humans, subtle changes in consciousness patterns that suggested exposure to the dimensional bridges was gradually affecting all of humanity. "It's not forced enhancement like Project Phoenix," she reported through the neural network. "It's natural adaptation. Humanity is evolving on its own, finding its way to a state of existence that bridges all dimensions." The transcended shared their own observations. Other species were beginning to experiment with the hybrid evolution model. The dimensional bridges had become beacons of possibility, drawing civilizations that sought alternatives to pure transcendence or physical limitation. Dante, standing on the bridge of the QRU Ascendant, looked out at the transformed solar system. The quantum veils rippled with possibilities, each one representing a potential path of evolution. Humanity had not only survived its first contact with a superior species, it had transformed the very nature of consciousness evolution. "We started this journey afraid of losing our humanity," he reflected through the neural link, sharing his thoughts with both enhanced humans and transcended. "Instead, we discovered that being human means constantly expanding what we can become." As Earth entered a new age of exploration and evolution, the former battle between physical and transcendent existence faded into history. The dimensional bridges stood as monuments to a profound truth. The future belonged not to those who transcended their nature, but to those who found ways to embrace all forms of existence. The war that began with destruction had ended in creation. Humanity had not just earned its place among the stars, it had shown the galaxy a new way to evolve, one that preserved the best of what we were while reaching for what we could become. And in the quantum veils that now stretched across space, infinite possibilities awaited those brave enough to explore them.